I am standing with 3 FFBs. I can't tell you how rare in the Bay Area it is to stand with 3 FFBs. It's like unbelievably rare. And what are the 3 FFBs doing? They're talking about getting deals, and they're smoking cigarettes. And it's like an unbelievable thing because, that's what FFBs do. They smoke. They talk about like, no, I got this great deal on a phone from Sprint. If you get 5 of them, you get the 6th line free, and they give you unlimited minutes. But you have to go to this little hole in the wall in Williamsburg, and you talk to Yankel in the back, and he'll send you to the back room, and it's a hock, it's a deal, And that's what FFBs do. BTs sit around talking about, I went to this Shabbos meal. It was beautiful. The challah, the scent of the challah, really like Rabono Sha'olam. They don't know how to pronounce it. They like, he came down in the challah, and it was so wonderful, and it just made me want to be Frum forever and ever, and give all my money away to Kiev organizations, and I just like, it's nice to be around FFBs. It really is. You can talk in a language that you don't realize that you can't use around like BTs and people. Even when you've been Frum for 30 years, you're still never one of us. You're never. It's like Chabad and Geshe. You think that those Chabadniks are going to ever accept you if you didn't come from Russia? Hell no. Once you're like in, you think you're in, but you're never in. You're never really in. You could be a 4th generation, but you're from Poland. You were a Galicianer. You weren't a Lubavitcher. This is like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I was talking to someone the other day about Geshe, not any names, and it still exists. And it's one of the things, it's like, it's sad, but just like the FFB BTs. I mean, we say, oh, it's so noble to marry a BT or marry a like Gioris. You get that, like, oh, they're on such a higher level. But no one's freaking marrying Giorises and BTs. My entire extended family, not one person on my father's side has ever even married a woman whose parents, chas v'sholom, wore pants. That's how, like, Frum we are. My brother married his girlfriend. His wife actually wore pants. And we're like the black sheep of the family. I'm dating a Gioris. This is like, and then the cousins go, you're like, are you sure? Like, there has to be something wrong with them. Like, why would they convert? Basically acknowledging that our religion is crazy, but trying to acknowledge it in a politically correct way. Like, they're Gioris, Gerim, they're off, and that's what people say about BTs. They always say, like, obviously there was something so screwed up with them that they had to enter religion, and they were searching for something. I was like, of course they were freaking searching for something. That's why they became religious. No one else would become religious if they weren't searching for anything, would they? So, it's kind of hypocritical in my mind that people preach they're on such a high madrega. We don't want to do anything with them, but they're on a high madrega. It's the same thing with Galila, by the way. Galila apparently is this lofty position. Yet the only time anyone is willing to pay more than 10 cents for Galila is during the Ela. That's it. That thing, then Galila becomes this lofty, like, I'm willing to pay 10 grand for Galila. But the rest of the year, who does it go to? The reject Alterbacher in the shul. The single guy. The Neb. The guy living with his parents and who works as a janitor. That's who gets Galila. And then the cool people, what do they get? Hagba. Or they're the guys rolling the Torah. Those guys are cool too. You gotta no, because you gotta be able to look at the Torah sideways. You're like this, and the Pesukim are flying by, and suddenly they could just stop in the middle of Akev, and you're like, how the heck did they do that? Is it Akev this week? That's why it's in my head, I think, subconsciously. I have no idea what the heck the Parsha of the week is. I only know because I have a guy who writes a guest post on my blog, Devar Torah, and I never read the Devar Torah because it's too, philosophical and stuff. It's not like the Jews left Egypt, we learned a lesson, Baal Shem Tov walked in the forest, whatever. It's like this whole deep thing with Soloveitchik and Hirsch and all the modern Orthodox philosophers and that sort of thing. And, but I know the Parsha. So at least when someone says, what Parsha is this week? I say Akev, and they think I'm frummer than I am. And I know you're thinking this black velvet, and I'm wearing black here, and that's all. I have to point this out in a lot of my videos, but it's fake black velvet. It's not real. It's got the little button at the top. It's shiny. It's four. It's not 6 pieces. It's, got a bar mitzvah thing in the back. It's not real. So I'm a faker, but I am an FFB, and I'll always be an FFB. Even though we watch TV on Shabbos, I'm still an FFB. I know I'm a little like a cracked out FFB, like a weird FFB. People who I listened to Marvelous Midos Machine, and, I had Pekalachs at parties, things that modern Orthodox kids didn't have. Yet I went to co-ed camp, strangely enough. Yet when I was 10, all the other kids were playing ball and doing things, and my dad would make us learn Gemara with him on Shabbos, which permanently polluted Gemara in my mind to the point where only a year ago did I rediscover the Talmud and its, enlightenment, and it's really made my life different, even though the last time I learned Gemara was a year ago. But it still should be entertaining. But I started learning Mishnah Berurah, and Mishnah Berurah is the shiznit. I'll tell you why. Because the Chavetz Chaim is very frank about being honest about how stupid people were back then, and how dumb they were, and how polluted their minds were with secular society and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, from Satire.